This week on the Push Pull Legs podcast, we are reviewing the weekend we spent with 3D Muscle Journey. So lectures from Eric Helms, Alberto Nunez, Jeff Alberts, Brad Loomis, and Andrea Valdez. Alright, 3, 2, 1, conferencing.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Pull Legs podcast with myself, Damik.
And me being attacked by... No, we're right, it's heading away. Me, Tom.
Coming for you.
Apologies, I live in South London, so something's happening. Something's going down right now as we're recording, but...
Is there blood on the end of that sword?
Maybe.
Ooh.
I've actually got my my letting agents coming round tomorrow, which I think they haven't seen that before.
They might get one.
So I'm gonna look forward to their email from it.
Yeah. Right, mate. So we were at the 3D Muscle Journey conference this weekend.
We were, yes, we were. I've got a thing. There's a video. Proof. There you go.
Oh yeah, you got the little program there. Yeah.
Program. Look at that.
Yes.
I also did some. I did some live things. But apologies. I know a couple of people did look at it because my boss Ben Lewis looked at it. He was like, "Yeah, were you just trying to film somebody's head? I don't know."
Yeah, your skills are not in the cameraman department, Tom.
I'm not a cameraman. I'm a techie guy, but I'm not a cameraman. No, it was. I kind of wanted to film just a couple of minutes of each one, but then it didn't turn out too great because it was just it was all right. You got a bit of the gist of what was going on. Just proof that I was there, even though it was a nutrition conference. Well, not all about nutrition, but you'll find out.
So for those of you guys that don't know, I guess, so 3D Muscle Journey are a group of 5 coaches from America who specialise...
We're jumping straight in, Dan. Are we doing... We're not, introducing anything, or what?
I was just going to let people know who they were, because they were
go.
I don't know who they are. I'm going to switch up.
Go.
They're a group of 5 coaches who coach a lot of elite or pro athletes in bodybuilding and powerlifting. So some of them, they just do bodybuilders, some of them just do powerlifters, some of them do hybrid, both athletes who do combine. So really cool for us because it combines both of our passions. So it was really, really neat, which is why we feel it's relevant to go over it for you guys.
Yeah.
What did you want to go over? So we're just going to go over what each coach talked about on the theory day. So they each had a lecture that they talked about. So we'll go through. So first up, we had Eric Helms to talk about flexible dieting and what it really is, what it isn't, that kind of stuff.
Then we had a break.
Oh yeah. That's time to have little breaks, Tom. What we have
then we had Jeff Alberts talking about stress.
Yeah, I thought that was really good, that one, yeah. And then after that, there was Alberto Nunez, who was talking about the off-season and how you periodize season upon season for your athletes, whether it's physique or powerlifting.
And then we had Brad Loomis, who, big shout out to him. I thought he's a powerlifting guy, so I kind of fell more powerlifting, geeky numbers guy. I was like, yes. Love it. He talked about contest prep and more. It does say dynamic training for contest preparation, but it was more like programming for contest preparation, right? I think.
Yeah. So and then after that, we had Andrea Valdez, who is the female coach of the group, talking about sort of psychology of dieting and stuff like that, which we'll sort of discuss at the end. In a bit more detail, I guess, because it's an interesting area. Well, no, because it's an interesting area. We've talked about it before, so talk about what we took from it and what we maybe thought is useful from that side of things, because we all know that is important, but how much we should talk about it, we don't know.
Don't know, yeah. So all these guys. So background, if you don't know them, they all compete. So pretty cool.
All do really, really well as well.
Yeah,
all of them. Pretty much. They've all got some kind of record or pro card or world title or something, I think. Maybe except Andrea, maybe. but she might even have pro card. But yeah, they're all extremely good at what they do.
Yeah.
They walk the walk as well as know their shit.
Know their crap, mate. So it was all run by SBS, Shredded by Science.
Yep, Shredded by Science.
You did say you compared how many listeners with Lukey.
Yeah, he mentioned it. Luke mentioned how many downloads they had last month and stuff like that, and we're a little way off. Just a little bit.
They beat us. Fuck. Yeah, but they've been going for a long time.
It was good to see them as well, because they're really nice guys and they do a lot of good stuff in the industry as well. So there was loads of people there actually we kind of knew as well. Martin McDonald was there.
Joseph Agu, Gordon Greenhorn.
Yeah, there's quite a few people there who know shit in the industry. So it was good.
Yeah, some people actually waved at me who I didn't know who they were, and then they said they listened to the podcast, which was quite nice.
Jesus, people should listen.
Mad. I'm more recognized. Actually, if I did do a picture of where's Dan, but it was just the whole of Team Box were being nerds and sitting at the front and VIPs, but yeah, we'll discuss that. So I wasn't a VIP because I didn't want to go to the Sunday. Maybe more to do with my background, but yeah, that's probably why. So we'll go over the Saturday. So let's get Dan's 5-minute timer on.
Oh yeah, shit! I need that now.
Yeah, you need your timer. So like we did for the PTC conference, we'll go 5 minutes per lecture. Well, Dan's going to keep the time this time, instead of me kind of punching him, trying to send him expletives over text messages and stuff like that. So, yeah, we'll delve in. So, actually, I'll get my notes out for Eric Helms because I did actually take some notes during this, amazingly, not just badly Facebook living people. Yeah.
I guarantee you that Tom will be the only one that can read them because knowing his handwriting when he's in a rush.
Whoa, I did it on my Mac. Thank you.
Oh, you did it on your Mac? Well done. At least someone read it.
So if anybody wants my notes, you won't understand them because they're all bullet pointed and I'm going to record. So, yeah, let's go. So flexible dieting, Daniel.
Yeah, so Eric Helms started with the flexible dieting and sort of talked about this common misconception that it is just like you can do whatever the hell you want, eat whatever the hell you want and get lean, and he was very much saying that is not the case. There is some kind of restraint involved. You have to restrain yourself from eating too much food to lose weight, and how you can either do that from a flexible point of view or from a rigid point of view. And essentially flexible dieting just allows you to be less rigid, not do whatever the hell you want. So it's more about options and choices. And it was talking about how there was aspects of it where we do need structure. Like you can't just not give structure. So when we say we bash meal plans, it's not like we don't have a meal plan per se. Like I have certain times of the day I will eat, and I know roughly how many calories, how many protein, carbs, and fats I'll eat in each of those meals, even though I do flexible dieting. So roughly, I eat pretty much the similar stuff regularly, and then I have like one meal a day, which is kind of like open, and I just go with whatever I feel like I want. And he was very much saying that's the same way that he does it and how they would coach their clients through it, and how you still need to have a continuum. You can't just kind of go, this is good, this is bad. It's this is good, this is better, this is the best. And how you're not, even if you have a rigid plan basically, and if you go just a tiny bit off plan, you have that, oh fuck it, I might as well just go crazy. Whereas on flexible dieting, you have those continuums where, okay, you can't be the best you can be, but if you can just be good, then that's still okay, and you don't then go for that, oh, screw it, I might as well just have whatever I want.
Yeah, it was interesting how he outlined, so rigidity was correlating with a lot of other stuff. So it's, I guess he was saying against correlation and causality, right? He was explaining the difference between causality and correlations. So in terms of, I guess that's more to do with the American system than I usually go to a false correlation or a positive correlation, something like that. I've used that term before. So in terms of causality, rigidity can have cause. So less weight loss. So with a rigid diet, we're talking actually giving somebody a diet plan or whatever. It turns into more food focus instead of kind of flexible dieting. The higher BMI, generally, or body mass with a rigid diet, more common overeating, higher levels of depression and anxiety, which is an interesting thing to look at. I thought was pretty deep with that, but more frequent and more severe for body image. So you got poorer body image essentially. So which is lots of negative things that were either correlated or caused by a rigid kind of meal plan. So the whole of implementing flexible dieting is, I guess, maybe he was saying, outline to your clients that these are all bad things and it probably won't get you into these states, especially with psychological. I thought it was quite good, but he also talked a lot about relating to your clients, didn't he? Then, so I think the thing that I took from it, and the bit that it wasn't on the slides, I'm glad I actually got it down as a quote directly, was, and it relates to clients and their goals and stuff, is it dieting should be as flexible as it is appropriate to the goal. Yeah.
And it's like, look, if you're a 80 kilo guy looking to lose 5 kilos before a holiday just so you can just see the outline of your abs, you could probably be as flexible as you want. If you're an 80 kilo guy who needs to shift 12 kilos of body fat because they're getting on stage, they're going to get shredded, you probably can't be as flexible as you'd like. And it just depends on the goal, and it depends on, someone who's extremely overweight, 30% body fat, they can probably be really, really flexible. They don't need that rigidity. Whereas a bodybuilder going on stage who's probably already starting their prep at 10, 12% body fat, they have to be pretty rigid with what they do, but have certain boundaries within that. And it was really useful. And the other thing as well that you touched on was, like, in the off season, he was like, look, don't track everything to the minute gram in the off season because it's not that necessary. And he was saying he went through periods where he tracked and he was kind of going, why the hell am I tracking? There was no reason.
He said he'd been tracking for 5 years, and then he was like, why the fuck am I doing this? It's like, I know exactly what's in everything, basically, because you're trained. I mean, we've like tested you before when you worked with us. We're like, damn, how much is in this? And you pretty much nail it within like 20, 30 calories. And you're like, shit, you probably know exactly what you're eating throughout the day. So it was, he went on to kind of whether you're dipping your toes in the ocean or kind of learning to swim or something like that, or if you're with your client. And the one of the big takeaways that I looked at, well, two of them actually, and I think it definitely correlates from here to Brad Loomis as well, was 5 minutes. Shit. Was just the bodybuilder brain was interesting. Relating to your clients, not everybody wants to lift weights. Not everybody has dieted. Not everybody wants to do that. You have to try and get them to do it, or think of a flexible way to do that. So the chances are using structure can create flexibility. So you probably need to structure something, but have flexibility within that structure, if you get what I mean. So in terms of, he was talking about ranges, continuums, and the muscle strength pyramid. I urge everybody to go look at all that kind of stuff that he put up. But then I guess we'll talk about it a little bit more in Brad Loomis's one, the recap. But something that I just didn't really know about was diet breaks and periodization of diets. It's not something that I've read up on, or because I'm not nutrition based. Obviously, I know a hell of a lot about it, programming wise, and musculature physiology, but it's not something I've ever really thought about, is through periodization and programming your diet.
Well, obviously, you'll know about it soon enough.
What's that?
You'll know about it soon enough.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's something that I thought I did or would think in sport. Yeah, that'll happen. But
yeah, it's funny there, right? Because I mean, you were talking about it before, and we'll talk about it when we get to Brad stuff, I guess. But you deload training.
Yeah, why don't you deload your diet? Yeah.
You can deload your diet, and especially when you've got really intense periods, and I think Alberto talked about it a fair bit about digging, and he was like, look, when you're digging really deep in your diet, you need to deload because it gets hard, it gets really tough, and if you don't do it, what's going to happen? Probably you're going to binge, and you're just going to naturally have one anyway. So why not plan it in and program? Just like when you train, you deload. You either plan to deload or you get injured and you need one. So
yeah.
I mean, that's something that we've done for a little bit, and some of my clients, they sort of all of a sudden randomly see more food on there, and I'm like, yeah, let's just have a little, just have this week or two of that, and they kind of go, why? I want to get to my goal quicker, and it's like, just take your time.
Chill. Let's like put it in perspective. So
yeah, and that went on so nicely,
and all that kind of stuff. So like, if it fit your macros, he was saying that's only applicable after the person's been educated in what actual macros do or what they are, or if you hit all your macros, you'll hit your calorie target. That's fine. Not just don't lose goal of perspective of where your client needs to be, what they want. So, and allow life events. Hit your calories, hit your protein, then hit everything. So, cool. Should we move on?
Yeah, so next up then was Jeff Alberts, who talked about stress, which I, again, took a lot away from. I think it's really, really, really good, is that he said when you're dieting, he said, we need more than enough time, which is however long you think you need, add 5 weeks to it, probably add another 3 on top of that. Just seriously take your time. And again, the analogies that he used were great. You can't take a corner at 200 miles an hour. Again, it comes back to the whole thing of periodizing your nutrition, is when you can put your foot down and you can go in a straight line, you can get there real quick, do it. But the race isn't just a straight line. You're going to have to take a corner at some point where you have to slow down, be calculated. And that was really good, is that if you have it more than enough time, if you come in condition 4 weeks ahead of schedule, then you can slowly build up your calories and go back to maintenance, and you can just hold that condition for a while and feel really good going into your show rather than feeling shit and like you're rushed. And he talked about the effect that stress can then have on your progress if you don't feel like you have enough time. He's 45 years old. He's been bodybuilding for 30 years. He's the one with the most experience. So I kind of sat there the whole time, was like, right, this guy has been doing this longer than I've been alive. I'm listening to what he's saying.
What I kind of got from him, I didn't know too much about him. I don't move in the same circles as some of the bodybuilder people, but was that he'd done the shit way as well. He'd been there, done it, and he came out and said, was like, if I could have done what I've been doing for the last 5 years when I was younger, hell yeah, I would have done it. Like, this is so much better. My results are better. I'm so much further along. I'm more controlled. I'm not stressed. Like, I can do my shit. Like, I guess one of his things was life events as well. He was like, plan it in. I have a date night every month, and we have wine and whatever. All my relationships are great, and that it's just because I take 30 weeks my prep, but fuck it. That's how long I'm going to take, but I get to enjoy my calories or all your macros for longer. Because you got longer to train, you got longer to come out from, and
his big thing was just, enjoyment, and you could see, you could see in him, he just loved bodybuilding, and you kind of get that feeling that for him, it was probably because he's developed this way that he's fit it into his life, and his big, he was so philosophical about everything. He was like, look, just take it a day at a time. The way you feel today might not be how you feel tomorrow. You've got to just trust the process. Don't think, where am I going to be in 4 weeks? Just get up tomorrow morning, do your shit, get it done, go to bed, wake up, do your shit, get it done. And it was really kind of like, look, if you worry too much about the future, you're gonna be unhappy. Like the quote that he used was, insecurity is a thief of enjoyment. And it's like, if you get so worried and anxious about it, you're never going to enjoy it. And I spoke to Steve about this, and I was saying how this time around in my prep, I've really enjoyed it, and I've not really been that bad compared to how I was last time, especially. And I'm just really enjoying the process, even though I'm on like 1,800 calories a day. I'm sat here now a little bit hungry. After the weekend, it really put it in perspective that I'm really enjoying it, and it's fun. And yeah, there'll be times where, of course, I'm going to feel a little bit worse than that, but I need to just take each day as it comes. And if you've got a guy at those 45 telling you that this way is the best way of doing it, and he's done it the shit way, and he knows, and he's doing it this way, and he's 45 with a kid and a wife to keep happy, then this is the way to do it. Get a coach, someone knows what they're doing, to understand the process, take the pressure off you and the stress off you, and let someone else plan your journey for you. I was just sat there the whole time, just really in awe of him. I just think he was very quiet the whole weekend, but I felt like whenever he spoke, there was a reason he said something. 100% of the time, you had to take note of what he said. Whereas there was sometimes other people were just talking for the sake of it. Everything he said was something you should have written down. It was just gold dust. In my opinion, anyway, just from his experience.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Just talking about stress and cost of prep. It was just from a guy that's been on it for a long time. Obviously working with like Eric and some of the evidence-based guys. His evidence is very anecdotal, but it's got its self-worth because he's been that good, and yeah, it's there, and he understands the evidence now of the science behind it and what he's doing now and how to implement that within his clients. And 5 minutes, good. Yeah, compared to everything else.
Yeah. The other thing I really liked about all of them, which again people may or may not know, is that they're all natural and they all compete in natural federations. And this is the thing that I get a lot, obviously, on social media from the people who say that I'm shit because I don't look like Arnold. Is that actually these guys obviously are doing it this way because they're natural, and this is what works for natural athletes. And obviously, you know, that's their experience. They only train natural athletes. If any of their athletes use, they don't train them. They don't take them on. They're not their clients. Like it's very much, this is how you should do it if you are a natural guy in a gym enjoying training, because the results speak for themselves. If you have someone who's taking or using, that you can't really apply this information. Well, you can apply this information, but you'll get those excuses and those things of like, oh, I can eat 8,000 calories a day. Of course I can. Well, yeah, because you're jacked up the eyeballs, mate.
That's the thing. They kept on coming back. Well, they didn't keep on. They didn't really mention it that much, which was really cool about like any being jacked or Mexican supplements or anything. But they did say those guys who are on that, I was like, we're the natural guys are treading a fucking tightrope, and basically the guys that are jacked up don't really have to worry about it so much. There's more mistakes that they can make along the way.
More room for error.
Yeah, there's more room for error than us, basically. We have to follow this. This is what we've got. We have to be. That's why we're getting better all the time. So with all the evidence and the science that's coming through. So it was really good. I think it's something that I think both me and you feel quite strongly about, and how in terms of PEDs and stuff, we're both in positions that we probably don't take on clients if they're openly doing it. But
yeah, I wouldn't know what the hell to do.
I'd be out of sorts. I'd be like, all right, go train with somebody else. So, not
exactly. And look, there's guys out there who do have experience with it, and like I said, I don't have an issue with it either way. It's someone's choice at the end of the day. I
guess it's a big ball of like fucking can of worms, but open. But if somebody's openly admitting to it, I don't have a problem with it. It's when they hide it. Is my issue. Cool.
The other thing I think from this weekend that I took away from following those guys a lot is that you can tell, like it's, you know, these guys are putting on, like I think Alberto said that in his last off season he put on a pound of muscle in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, well, that's what you're going to get after you've lifted for 15 years. You're 30. I think he's 33. You know, you're not going to be making those kind of gains. Whereas you see some of the guys, you know, who compete in bodybuilding, or that, you know, some people know, oh yeah, I put on 10 kilos of pure muscle in a year. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know, you know. And like all the guys that were there, the thing I loved about all of them is all of their physiques looked just so proportional. All of them were like proportional. Some of them had slightly bigger arms, some bigger shoulders, some bigger legs, whatever. But they all looked just like normal guys with their clothes on. When you saw pictures of them with their clothes off, they're fucking huge and jacked.
They're fucking massive. Yeah, that's. We'll go
that's difference for me. That's kind of how you know, is that
it's like
that they look normal in a t-shirt and a jumper. Yeah. The second they put a vest on or a pair of leggings or tight trousers, yeah, they look jacked. But it's really that's the thing for me, is I now think it's really obvious. I can tell now when someone I think has gone that way. Anyway, we get off topic.
Yeah, cool. All right, next one was Alberto Nunez, strategic nutrition for bodybuilding champions. So you said this is probably the one that, in terms of your career, you probably took the most out of. And I was kind of sitting there thinking, probably along with probably some of Team Box, I think this is an issue that obviously something that you guys probably have starting to think about as well. So.
Yeah, I think it's so he was talking about the off season a lot and talking about how to make progress basically, and how, look, if you're competing year on year, you're probably not going to be making all that much progress. Like Olympic athletes, they peak for the Olympics. That happens every 4 years. Like they don't stay. Like he said, Usain Bolt doesn't run 9.6, 9.5 all year round, and year on year. he comes in and he peaks for certain times of the year. And same with physique athletes or bodybuilders is you have to go through gaining phases and cutting phases. But he was talking a lot about how you have to measure stuff. If you're not measuring it, you can't manage it. And he talked about that a fair bit and saying how you can't let your body fat level go too far away from where you want it to be in terms of your stage weight, because it's not conducive then to a good prep next time around, no matter how far away it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's
so in terms of figures wise, he was talking about kind of a 10%. Was it about 10% weight difference?
And it depended on when your next show is. So he was saying, if you're going to take a 2-year off season, you could probably go 20% above stage weight.
So I think that'll be quite shocking for some of the people who probably listen to us. But yeah, Dan is right. 2-year off season. So that'd be. He did talk about 2 to 3 years of actually taking where you don't compete or you don't do any shows. You literally. Like you say to your client, basically, all right, you're in 2 to 3 years, and you're fucking training your nuts off to get kind of or quality training to build as much muscle and get you big. And
you have to be in a surplus. You have to be in a surplus to gain muscle and effectively.
But they did. He did talk about who talked about that in terms of the surplus. I think it was Eric, wasn't it? He talked about
there's a diminishing return.
So in terms of the return to. There was some that were in a calorie surplus of 600 calories, and then there was a study. So, in terms of gaining muscle size, so 600 calories plus, so surplus, and then other guys that were controlled and they just ate at maintenance, but there wasn't very much difference when they came back down.
Yeah, so basically what they did is they had one group who had, let's say, for example, it wasn't this, but let's just for example, 1,000 calories. In a surplus. They then had a group who was 600 calories in a surplus. They got them, trained them for 12 weeks, 18 weeks, whatever it was, dieted them down, and then did all the body comp measurements, the DEXAs, whatever they needed to do. And basically both groups gained exactly the same amount of muscle on average, but the group that had more calories, 1,000 calories, put on more body fat. So there was a point of diminishing returns where there's no point you going above a certain amount of calories. And that was really useful for me to hear, because it's like sometimes you get worried you just got to shovel food in and you're going to get fat. And I mean, Alberto was saying, look, if you're taking a 2-year off season, you don't want to stray 20% from your stage weight. So if I'm going to be competing, I reckon I'll be 69, 70. I can't go much higher than 84. Bearing in mind I started this prep at 79. That's quite a long leeway. Whereas if you go nearer the marker of around 10% above stage weight, that puts me at 77, which is about where I started this. So I kind of felt like, right, this time around I knew I started in the right place. So that was really good to sort of to look at. And just purely from a client point of view, it's really interesting because we get guys come in who want to do a photo shoot, want to get lean, or want to do a competition. Yeah. And often the first thing they do, like a month after their show or competition or photo shoot, is go, oh, I don't need you anymore. I'm good. I'll just take off season. And I kind of go, I'm like, okay, that's your decision. No problem with it. But actually, you might need me now more than you did during your prep, because during your prep, you're so focused, you're so motivated, you know how to get there, you've got this goal weight. Whereas actually now you need to have someone almost holding you back with the reins, going, look, you can't eat that much. You still need to train this hard. You still need these boundaries in place. And it's really interesting how he puts as much focus on measuring things in the off season as he does in the on season. Yeah. That for me, I took a lot away from that. And I think even for you as a powerlifter looking to gain in an off season, just as important, like everything needs to be managed, your weight, your numbers, volume, intensity. It's exactly true in everything. I think it's so important.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. It was good presentation. But I guess, what was I going to say? I don't know. It's right.
Doesn't matter now.
I know. I'll think of it in a bit. All right, the one I enjoyed the most.
Mate, you take this one. Because you know, I can see your love for this man already. Just
I know. I will. He will come on the show because.
I'll be honest. Out of all of them, I knew Brad and Andrea the least. I had no idea of anything about them, and I think most people were the same.
I kind of knew Brad. I followed some of his stuff before, just because I knew he talked a lot about, because he's a powerlifting guy as well. Obviously a master. So he's a master deadlift powerlifting world record holder. I believe, and he's got his pro card. He's master. So master level is like above senior. That just means you're a little bit older. So in terms, he's got the world record of deadlifts under the 74 kilo. So it's pretty good. He's a strong guy. I think he's around like 245, 250 kilo for a little guy. So
right, mate. Set this timer and I'll just wind you up and let you go.
Yeah. So Brad was talking about his title was dynamic training for contest prep, but I would prefer he would have probably called it contest prep and programming, to be honest, programming for contest prep or programming for bodybuilders, because I think it was quite good the way he so the first part he did it in 2 sections. So his presentation revolved around kind of deloads and programming for how clients should, well, generally IPE scales, and how he likes auto-regulation quite a lot. So auto-regulation is basically you don't fuck about with the weights. You don't give a shit what you're lifting, as long as you're lifting to an RPE scale or a rep to max scale. I think it's something we talked about a lot with some of our guys. We just give them, like, you've got to hit an 8 or 9 out of 10 and trust them. Or I've used it with guys now. I've got to hit 2 reps to failure. So he talks about auto-regulation is great because you can push your client to how hard you want and you don't have to set them numbers. Obviously, powerlifting is a little bit different, but this is strictly for contest prep. Then he went into deloads, which I was screaming in my head. And I know if you listen back to our deload podcast, he mirrored a lot of our stuff, but probably drove it home even more so. He was just in the... Obviously, he's a big science guy. He's a massive nerd, and he knows about the evidence stuff on deloads. And he was like, "Yeah, bodybuilders need to deload. Powerlifters, even more so, need to deload." And he was like, "And nobody fucking takes long enough." So Gordon Greenhorn, I'm sure a lot of our listeners might follow him. He once they opened the floor out, and he was just like, "All right, you're all prepping for something. Clearly, at some point, what are people prepping for? What are you doing? What are your macros? What's your training like? Where are you? Where are you doing?" And it was just an open floor, and I kind of really respected that, because he could have been caught cold, like, about something and not really knowing the answer. But Gordon kind of put some stuff out there about he'd been training for like 16 weeks and he was starting his prep, or he's about 12 weeks into his prep or whatever, and he was like, "Have you deloaded?" And he was like, "No."
Gordon said first, didn't he? Gordon was talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, last week I've been like, this is real tough. It's like getting hard. Training's getting hard." And he kind of just was like, "Well, have you deloaded?" And he's like, "No." And it's like, well, I have not thought about that.
But then he was like, so I think Gordon was like, "Oh, cool, I'll just have a week off." And he was like, "How long have you been training? 16 weeks hard?" "No, 3 weeks off. Fuck it." And it's like, what's going to happen?
That's the thing I got from that. What was really, really good was he didn't even bat an eyelid when he was like, "Take a 2-week deload, take a 3-week deload." Like, it didn't even, like, he was like, "Why is it just 1 week? Why all of a sudden are we just stuck in this thing of, I'll take a deload week?" And he's like, if you've been training a hard cycle for 12 weeks, like you've just done, Tom, for example, you could probably go first week deload, just really wipe the intensity out. Just do like 50% of what you're lifting, 5-6 RPE with decent amount of volume. The week after that, you go up to maybe 6 or 7 RPE with maybe 1 set of a decent-ish weight on each exercise, and then go in fresh the week after. And for me, that was really refreshing, because I was like, shit. I was like, because sometimes I sit there and go, I could do with a 2-week deload. And it kind of made me feel like post-show, for me, I might just go 2 weeks deload. Just go, you know what? Like, I've been training this hard. Like, I need to recover.
You kind of because his point was just like, what's going to happen? I was like, you'll be smarter about your nutrition. You know you will. I was like, we're all educated guys. I was like, you'll deload your nutrition slightly. Just come off it, or if you need to refeed, do it. I was like,
and you'll be itching to get back training as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was like all the numbers will fly up, and it'll be like your training will absolutely smash. I was like, what's the problem? So for you controlling yourself and holding yourself back for 2-3 weeks, are you going to get more benefit out of that than running yourself into the ground? Which is what Jeff was going on about. Take your time. And it was like, if you take your 30 weeks, the chances are you can probably have a couple of 2-week deloads in there, or even 3 or 4. And guess what? You're going to feel fucking a lot better for it. I mean, I auto-regulated my deload at the end of Clarkie's cycle. He had me going straight in, but I was like, dude, from just my experience, I've deloaded every 5-6 weeks before, just for a week. I need 10 days off this 12-week cycle, just because I was fucked. I was just spent. And guess what? I smashed 80% for like 9 today. And yeah, that's probably because I took a 10-day deload, and you're okay. But yeah, that really drove it home for me. The fact is he wasn't caring about. It was like, I don't care who you are, just chill, and yeah, you're gonna come back stronger. So yeah, it was good, and he's a ripped guy, but very, very nerdy. He reminded me of
you like him because he's just like you.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but he reminded me of the guy of South Park, the counselor, who goes, "Okay." Yeah.
Pretty much. I think to be honest, I think he's one that I think we'll try and definitely get on the podcast first, because I mean, as bad as it's not a bad. Not, I don't mean it's in a bad way, but I think he's probably a bit in demand. He's probably less in demand than the others. The others are quite big personalities and big followings, and I don't know why he hasn't got one, because he was just as good as all those.
I think he was very taken aback about how many people kind of followed him over here, or kind of he was like, oh shit, I'm this guy from like somewhere in California, like what the hell am I doing here? This is cool. And he was very genuine, so I felt cool. All right, so move on to Andrea Valdez, the Psychology of Physique.
Yeah, so I mean, she talked about, I guess, the psychology of dieting, and how it changes. Like when you're dieting, the way you think, the way you act changes drastically. But she also talked about how that would then affect her decisions with clients, and how she deals with clients, I guess, and the process of how she gives them feedback, and why she likes to look at videos and stuff like we do it. In T-Box, we do video messages and things like that, because you can really get an idea where someone's at. If, like she said, if they're sat there going, "Oh yeah, everything's great, coach, I feel really good." It's different to, "Oh yeah, coach, everything's great, I'm feeling really good, I'm really happy." And whereas if that's written down in an email, there's no way of knowing between the two. And she was talking about how that's really important for them and the way they do things. And it really kind of struck home to me that actually I need to have a bit more of a process when I sit down and look at a client's update. And almost like a numbered checklist of how I go through things. And she very much said that if you can practice things in the off season of how you go through checklists and how you do things, when you then prep, it becomes easier. It just becomes like breathing or like walking. You don't even think about it. And that was really useful from that point of view of trying to get into really good habits. And then what else was it she talked about?
It was kind of like habits and like coaching, creating space for yourself as well. Because remember, you're a coach and you probably all these physique athletes. So in terms of, I think it's something I'll do as well. Sunday is just for us or for you or for me or whatever. Take a complete day off. You got to remember you're fucking working as well, coaching these athletes. And she was like, "Yeah, Sunday I'm not replying to anybody." I was like, "I'll be on my Instagram or whatever, but I'm not replying. I'm not checking my email. I'll read it later. I'm going to train now. I'm not going to think about it." So it's something that I've started to do a little bit more. I've got to be guilty of it every now and again. That I do, even like on holiday, I'll look at my emails or reply to stuff. I don't know why. It's just habit, I guess. But it's something that I need to get better at. So.
We have to be a lot more aware of it, especially nowadays with technology the way it is. Like I'm the same. She said sometimes that she'd be on Instagram, she'll post something, and her client who's waiting for an email reply from her will like the post, and she's like, "I get really worried and concerned," and you shouldn't. And the client isn't looking at that thinking, "Oh, why they're not replying?" Because as long as you are open and you understand they have certain lines of communication, then that's fine. And like I say, a lot of my clients now know when I do and don't answer emails, and how long that I take between replying and things like that. Because we do have a life, and actually sometimes these things take a lot of thought. And like Eric said in one of them, he was like, "I'll write out an email and I'll leave it, and I'll come back half an hour later, day later, read it, change it, and then reply. Sometimes your initial reaction isn't always the best reaction.
And then like I used to send those initial reaction ones, did not end well.
And I think that is also really important, is that clients understand, as long as you make them aware of how long you might take or your hours of work and stuff like that. And that was something that before I became full-time online, I just found really difficult, because I just felt like I was constantly working, whereas now it's that nice boundary between, they know when I'm going to reply to messages.
Which is obviously something I've got to get better at, because obviously I do have a full-time, I do 120 hours in the gym a month.
So it's like, for me, like I'm similar, like she said, like Sunday is my family day, I just don't do anything. Saturday is my day where I go to the gym and I do that, and I don't really do all that much work, or I might do a little bit of studying or something, but again, it's my day. Sunday is family day, and then Monday through Friday my head's switched on in the game working. It's like it's Monday night now, we're doing a podcast. Like it's fine, because we know that they're the times we need to do the work, right? So it's I think that was really important, because I think sometimes we worry too much about our clients, and sometimes we need to worry about ourselves a little bit more. And
maybe our clients need to worry about us.
Yeah, man, our clients should worry all about us all the
time. That's all right. Cool. So that kind of caps everything, I think. Andrea stuff. We didn't hit that 5-minute bar. I have no idea. I didn't. I guess.
I did start timer. We're at 27 seconds.
All right. It's going to end on a slightly sour note. I did appreciate all of her stuff, and it was very anecdotal. But I guess this is still coming from. I'm a very. Thanks. I can finally see Dan's face now.
There we go. Getting real dark outside.
You're getting really, really dark. You not got lights in your house? Fucking hell.
Yeah, but the window's there, and usually I get nice daylight from the window. Yeah, but then I realised
we are doing this like 9 o'clock at night on a Monday. Yeah, well done, Dan. Good. I guess it was just a little bit different that I'm still. I realise in our industry it's kind of thrown about a bit, and it's more sometimes anecdotal, but we go through the evidence-based and drive that. With psychology, because I don't know anything about it, and I don't know the people who do know about it, I still presume that maybe a psychologist should talk about psychology. If a psychologist lifts, then cool, awesome.
Lift, that's fine. That's cool.
Then at least they know the psychology of lifting. They can know what's going on.
I think my view on it is that in our jobs, essentially, we are trying to change behavior to a certain degree. Now, whether that's better diet, whether that's better training, whether it's better attitude to training, whatever, essentially behavior could come under the umbrella of psychology. My main issue is when people discuss psychology using that word, perhaps. I would, like, for example, if I try and get someone in a better habit of eating protein at breakfast, that's related to nutrition, it's related to a food. Yes, it's changing their behavior in a roundabout way, which is psychology, I get that, and how they view things, we maybe need to change how they view food, how they view this stuff, but it's related to food all the time. Whereas when it comes into, if you're trying to manipulate their psychology or whatever, like, I'm not saying she said that at all, she didn't, but some people in the industry do, and it's kind of, there's that fine line between understanding how much you can go into that aspect of things. Like, I'll happily talk to a client about how they view food, or how they view their progress, how they view their career, how they view things going in the future, and elements of psychology come into that, because it's motivation, all that sort of thing. So that's fine. When it comes into things that they talked about, sometimes you have to just refer out to people when it becomes a bit excessive. But yeah, I mean, look, she didn't push the boundary that far, but certainly, using the word psychology, I think wasn't the best word to use for what she'd actually talked about, because it wasn't. I think psychology.
Maybe like the thoughts or the process of
it's thinking. More about the coaching process, right? And
I think that would have been a better. It was just the use of the psychology. So I think
relationship maybe would have been better. Or
relationship, that would have been cool. It just steps on the toes. Obviously, it's a little bit personal because my guy friend's a psychologist, and also I'm going to a thing in August, so on the 6th and 7th of August, I've got a seminar with Tony Gentlecore, and his wife is Dr. Lisa Lewis, who's a clinical psychologist. So she's going to go through mindfulness and all that kind of stuff. So I got a 2-day workshop, so I'll come out the back of that a little bit. But she does do strength training. I guess she has to if she's with Gentlecore. I guess that's a requirement. So that'll be interesting to see. I like coaching, so I'll be in a VIP thing there. Only about 30 of us.
Oh yeah, VIP.
Cool. Yeah. Not even paying for it, mate. It's great. Great. All right. Strong. Yeah. Cool. That ends that. I think that if we've kind of driven through. I don't think we'll have a break. There's not much point because
that's all we've got.
We're 40 minutes in now, mate. So yeah.
Yeah. All we've got left is stupid things, right?
All we got left is stupid things. So wait for Rakesh.
Ooh, that sounds like bollocks. Probably because it is. Stupid things on the internet this week.
So let's give a shout out to our man who's sent us some stuff. Nick Walkley. That's right. Nick Walkley. So I actually recognise him because I think he used to be in our gym. So cool. Awesome that he's listening. I don't think he's still at our gym because I haven't seen him in a year or two. So so he I'm not going to say his name, that he sent me a guy to look up, just to have a nose about on his Facebook page. And he was just like, he private messaged me it, so I was just like, mate, do a public post about it next time and tag him in it. So I'd be quite interested to see whether he does that.
We're not in that game.
We're not in that game. We're not going to call people out. It's just silly things that we see around. So there's a lot of like pictures, and it's more quotes on this guy's page. That is his musings and what he thinks, obviously.
Does he even think?
We don't know. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this guy does not fly the flag for evidence-based research, like practice, like we do.
Okay, right, yeah. I'm so shocked.
Right, so let's go through some of these quotes and get what we think. All right, number 1. So this cut me pretty deep. Powerlifting is an inferior and dysfunctional way to train strength.
Inferior to what? You can't say inferior. Inferior to what?
I don't know. It was just inferior than doing something else apparently to train strength. Than functional training, obviously.
Fucking retard.
Fucking idiot. All right.
I bet he's like been to Naudi Aguilar's flipping seminar or something.
Guess what? John Clark does powerlifting, but he's a strong man, amazingly. I think they're strong. Cool.
He's not very strong.
Another one, physiologically, was something very fun. So he started talking about breathing methods, something that we've talked about a little bit. I actually focus on powerlifting and taking breaths every single time. If anybody sees my video that I might post up about the 9 reps at 80%, I take a fucking massive breath every single time, and I hold it. Because guess what happens when you take a big breath and hold it? You're fucking strong through your core, man. So apparently if you hold your breath, physiology stops. Dun, dun, dun. That was the direct quote. Physiology stops.
Again. What physiology? What does that even mean? What your body stops pumping blood around your body?
I didn't really get it. I don't know.
Your body stops delivering oxygen to the working muscles. No, it doesn't.
I think that's what he gets. Like, I think he feels that like blood isn't pumping around anymore, or oxygenated blood isn't being there. Yeah, it is. Unless you're in anaerobic respiration, and then you've got a very limited amount. You're not anaerobic threshold when you hold your breath. Don't worry.
It doesn't mean it. I mean, both of the sentences that you've said that were his don't even make sense. The first one, he's not said what it's inferior to, and the second one, physiology, when physiology doesn't work, that doesn't even make sense, because I'm pretty sure if you looked up the dictionary definition of physiology, it would be something that could stop working. Like the study of something.
The study of, anatomy and physiology is just, okay, cool. All right, so Nick actually said, I kind of posted those two, just quickly skimming this guy's page, and he was like, just you wait, his hormone response is brilliant. And his hormone response is fantastic. So there is a graph that goes with this.
Damn those hormones.
I'll hold it close to the camera. I can't even see that. Yeah.
We can't see it, Tom. It just says report a problem.
Yeah, we go. So this is a graph on hormone response, So if anyone wants to screenshot that right now, they can. It's on them. So I'll talk you through the graph. So this chap only does 30 minutes sessions with his clients. So evidence
Which
to suggest...
there's nothing wrong with 30-minute session.
Okay, yeah. Apart from I'm trying to get him out of every single gym. Yeah, 30 minutes. You can do a 30 minutes.
My point is, I'm being fair. That let's see what his rationale is. Like, I'm saying that 30 minutes you can do a half decent session.
You can do a half decent session. 30 minutes of cardio, man. Amazing, yeah. It's great. All right, cool. So, evidence suggests no actually post of where the evidence has come from. Good.
No paper,
that 30 minutes of exercise is optimal. All right. So
again, this guy's English is fucking awful. Optimal.
So
for what?
But the evidence he's provided is this graph. So if people had looked on the video, so I'll quickly go over this graph for you.
Anyone can draw a graph.
So it's on hormone response during 1 hour of intense exercise. Okay, so growth hormone. Our friend Poliquin. Good. All right.
You can, if you manipulate hormones during training, it doesn't have any real effect.
So even this is complete bullshit. But even if it was real, so hormone response peaks according to his graph that he put out, about 30 minutes of exercise peaks between 35 and 45 minutes of exercise.
So why does he not do 45 minutes?
So why is he doing 45-minute sessions? Even if his argument was correct. So, but still, hormone response, and this, according to this graph, the hormone is still a heightened rate than normal statutory after an hour and 15. So, I mean, you used the analogy of stocks, Dan. It was just, so an hour and 15 minutes into my workout, I'm still at a heightened growth hormone response than I would have been at normal. So fuck it. According to this graph, my workouts are great because my clients know I program for an hour and 15, hour and a half sessions. So I'm sticking to this science of this graph because it backs me up amazingly.
It's just that whole thing for me as well, is that assumption that just because you've got that hormone response from training, that all of a sudden everything's going to be okay. Like if you had that hormone response from training, even if that was real and true, it's almost like saying that's what matters most. Well, no, because if your clients are eating 6,000 calories a day, they're going to get fatter, you fucking idiot. Don't care. I don't care what the hormone response is.
Okay, cool. Rant over. Good. That was nice. That was our stupid quotes of the internet this week. He had 3 there that I thought were pretty ridiculous. If you can find some more, send us to him, or just post them on our page. It's fucking hilarious. Stupid quotes. We'll quote you out. Just do it. Right. Good episode, Daniel. All good. What's happening in your world? Anything fun?
Not really, mate. I'm just I'm on 1,800 calories a day now, so things are a little bit tougher than they used to be.
1,800, strong.
Yeah, it's not really a lot of food, but no,
training?
Good. Training's going well. I'm still loads are still good. I hit 95 kilo bench for 4 reps today, so that's still around where I was before I was dieting anyway. And what else is going on? I've got Mark McDonald's workshop. Not this weekend, next weekend, which I'll be able to do a little review of. Yep. Then after that, the weekend after that, we've got the Team Box Retreat, which is going to be epic.
Cool. I'm not going to that. I'm not cool enough.
You're not invited, mate.
No. Right. I'm not a client of Team Box. Sorry.
Well, you're a client of mine, but you don't pay me any money. What about you?
About me?
Other than your Tony Gentlecore meeting.
Well, that's not until August.
Oh, right. I thought you said this month.
It's August. I got Tony Gentlecore and this psychologist for a couple of days, education-wise. Nothing crazy. I'm delivering education with my peeps. Actually, amazingly, the podcast has got somebody a job. Yeah, so shout out to Seb James.
Oh yeah, Seb got in touch, didn't he?
Got in touch and is now working as part of in my team. Yeah, so.
He fell for it.
He fell for it. He thinks those guys know what they're talking about. It's going to be very interesting. This will be the back of he's got some one-to-one things to do with me, which will be scary, I guess. Really for me and him. He's pretty jacked and was in the army, so yeah, good guy.
Shit.
Okay. Apart from that, I'm in Norway next week, so we might do a Norway podcast. Maybe not, but maybe. The internet connection will be good, at least. Awesome. Daniel.
I'm going to try and get John Clark on soon, right?
Pardon?
We're going to try and get John Clark on soon.
Yeah. John Clark, my coach, should come on. Well, I've called him out today. He replied to my Facebook comment, but he didn't reply to my WhatsApp.
Oh my God!
What is that about? Because I'm a client, he will reply to me tomorrow, probably. Yeah.
Right, let's stop boring these nice people. If you haven't already, it would be great if you could leave us a review on iTunes. That really, really helps. And share the podcast with your friends so we can help educate them if they're really, really stupid and they don't know what they're doing in the gym. Let them know. We can help them. That'd be great.
If there's any videos that you really want us to do or anything like that, I mean, we've got a private push-pull legs client-based thing now that Dan can add anybody he wants to. Obviously, I'll drive up my guys. If anybody's there listening to that, like Sam and whatever, keep posting shit on there. We'll critique it if you want Dan's view and not just mine. Don't just clog up my phone with your videos. Share it for everybody. It's all cool. All good, guys. So hope you enjoyed the episode. 3DMJ, go follow 3DMJ. Like all good guys to follow.
Yeah.
Don't take. Yeah. Obviously, come for us for business time, but yeah, you can follow them as well. Yeah, cool. All right, peace out, Dan. All good.
Peace out. Catch you later.